Guess what? I stopped it instead of hitting
Oh,
pause. Now we're gonna Oh no, we're recording. Hey everybody, Chris and Gidget Carrizales here, founder and CEO of the Live More method for women who want to slim down, ditch bloat, and double their energy without dieting, without giving up wine and chocolate. So welcome here in our kitchen. We are going to be on here tonight to show you how we make Carrizales Chicken Nachos. So today is Tuesday, so I know that most of you are doing the Taco Tuesdays. Well, we are turning it into Nacho Tuesday here in our house. I know that we post a lot of photos and a lot of different recipes, but given the advice from others, which were our sons, they said it would be a great idea if we just started bringing you into our world and into our kitchen and actually showing you how we actually cook and the things that we actually do. So we are taking their advice and welcome. We're going to show you tonight how we make this dish. So we make up a lot of our dishes. So that's the reason why we put the Carrizales name on it. We love to cook. We've gotten very creative in our meals and our meal prepping and planning, and we find dishes that we absolutely love and we just kind of stick with them. And if we don't create the dishes ourselves, we'll actually get some ideas from other recipes, but then we tweak them to make them our own. And especially with someone like me who has a lot of food issues or food allergies, food intolerances, there's a lot of modifications that I actually need to do. So here we are tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so we are going to go ahead and start showing you how we make the Carrizales Chicken Nachos, and I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful husband, Chris.
Hey.
Hey, go ahead, babe.
How's everybody doing? So basically what we're going to do here, I'll kind of show you real quick what we use. So first we get 4 good sized chicken breasts, so however you want to do it, or we use chicken thighs sometimes, depending on when we can find chicken breasts like we want. But 4 good sizes usually makes enough for our family, and then it also allows us to have leftovers for the next day or for lunch or something like that, which I know we've talked about in some of the other videos. We always like to cook our meals and have leftovers so we can have something for lunch the next day. So that's always a little something extra you can do. Or, you know, if you just want to freeze it, you can have it later on in the week or maybe the next weekend. So anyway, so some of the things that we use, of course, regular seasoning, we do the Himalayan pink salt, black peppercorns, which we have our little grinders here. Rotel, we use just regular old store-bought Rotel. We use turmeric, and we use ground cumin, and we use the chipotle salsa. It's a little bit easier than using the chipotle that comes in the adobo sauce, because you have to break all that stuff up. So we just use the salsa. It makes it a little bit easier. Throw a couple of bay leaves in there, which you'll see a little bit later. We'll add a little chicken stock. And then, of course, when we pan sear it, we'll use a little bit of avocado oil. You can use any kind of cooking oil you want, but because the way we cook and things like that, we use avocado oil. So what we'll do here in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put this pan on the stove, and we're going to add a little bit of the oil to it. Get that a little hot while we're seasoning up the chicken. What I'm going to add a little bit of the avocado oil to our pan, and I mean you can pretty much use as much as you want. I just kind of drizzle it in here. I say drizzle, but I pour it in there, so you know how that goes. And then just kind of, you know, roll it around in the pan a little bit so it kind of coats the bottom. And then while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and place this on the stove, and we're going to put it on medium-high heat. So we'll get that going here. And we'll do medium-high. I'm always getting in trouble because I put stuff on high all the time, and I like to burn stuff a little bit. So while that's on medium-high on the stove, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start seasoning our chicken. And so again, what we do is we'll put a little Himalayan pink salt. And you can season this to taste however you want to do it. So, you know, once you get all the other seasonings and stuff like that in there, It adds a little extra to it, but again, we just add all this. We'll throw a little ground pepper on here. And we'll do this on both sides. Our black pepper. And our turmeric. These are our seasonings of choice, by the way. We use salt, pepper, cumin, and turmeric pretty much on everything that we cook.
Yeah, those are our basic go-to seasonings for almost every one of our meats or our meat dishes, and soups as well. So as he's seasoning and putting things on there, of course, use organic where you can. If you can't find organic or you can't afford organic, that is okay. Don't stress over it. So normally we get the organic rotel. This one is not organic, if you're noticing. They did not have organic, so it's okay. We still got it. Also with the chipotle salsa, I just kind of want to piggyback on what Chris said. There for a while we couldn't find the chipotle salsa, and all we could find were the chipotle peppers in adobe sauce. Just so you know, those are way hotter. It seems to be more so than just the salsa. So I kind of like to go with the chipotle salsa. It kind of is a little bit of more of a milder taste. And especially with me having a history of digestive issues and that kind of thing, I don't want to get too spicy. Also with the chicken broth or stock or, what's the other one? Bone broth?
Bone broth.
So whichever one you folks want to get, whatever suits you, whatever suits your taste. Again, we always try to go for the organic grass-fed when possible. Trader Joe's is a great place to find all the things that you need for your organic grass-fed meals. So this is the one we got this time.
So what I did is I flipped the chicken, of course, and then we're going to go ahead and season the other side of it. Same thing, salt, pepper, cumin, and turmeric.
Doesn't he do this so well?
We pretty much made this every Sunday for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. We were actually driving back from Jersey one day after having lunch with our daughter and her family, and our grandson actually got a big old plate of nachos, and we were like, we can make those nachos at home. So on the way home we started talking about it, and we came up with, instead of doing the beef nachos, we decided we were going to do it with chicken. So that's where we came up with these.
Yeah, we literally had a 9-hour trip talking about how we wanted to make the nachos, and before we even came home, we were like, let's stop at the grocery store. So let's stop at the grocery store and let's get all the stuff to make nachos after we talked about it. So we got the chicken, we looked over in the salsas, and this is what we found, and this is what we went with, and so it turned out amazing. We have it quite often now.
So here's our chicken seasoned, so you can kind of see it's not crazy seasoned, but again, it's to taste.
Don't be afraid to season.
Yeah. And I always over season everything that I do because I've learned, growing up with my grandfather cooking, my mom cooking, things like that, even my grandmother, that if you over season something, a lot of that stuff's going to come off in the pan. So over season it, it'll still be in your dish no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these on the fire now, or in the pan, not on the fire, but in the pan. And we'll sear these on both sides for a couple of minutes. And then once we do that, we'll add the additional seasoning to it. Okay, so here we are at the oven. We're going to go ahead and put the chicken in that we just seasoned. So again, we're just going to sear it each side for a few minutes. Really just to kind of give it a little bit of cook on each side. So we'll put both of these in here. Oops, lost a chunk. So we'll just throw those in the pan. And usually what we'll do is I'll look at it, and then once it gets a little white on one side, then I'll flip it on the other side, and then we'll add the additional seasoning to it. Okay, so I threw that pan in the sink, or the plate that we had the chicken on. So again, we're just going to let these simmer for a little bit, just to kind of get the white on both sides. And you can kind of check it to see where it's at. Don't burn yourself like I just did. Remember, all we have in here is the avocado oil, so just a little bit. Alright, so we got chicken white on one side, as you can see that. So we'll throw that back on the other side now. Flip that over. Grab the other one. So now you see we got our chicken a little bit seared on one side, and then we'll flip it onto the other side so we can get that other side seared up. And then once you get the other side seared up, and again, you really don't have to watch it until it all turns the white side. While we're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the bay leaves to it. And there again, it's just regular store-bought bay leaves that you can find. And we usually just throw like 2 or 3 of them in the pan, just randomly, wherever you want to put them. And then we'll pick those out later on, before we serve it. Then we have, of course, our chipotle salsa. And what I usually do is I just dump it on top of the chicken. I don't know if that does anything extra to it or not, but that's just my routine of how I do it. And we'll open up our can of Rotel. Again, no rhyme or reason. Just dump it in there, however you want to do it. You'll definitely like the smokiness smell of the chipotle salsa as well. And then once we have both of those in there, I'll add a little of the chicken stock or chicken broth, whichever one you get. And there's no measurement. I usually just kind of pour it in. And once I have a little bit of that in there, then I always lift the chicken up just so it can all get underneath there. So a little bit of the juice from the salsa, or from the chipotle salsa, and also from the Rotel. And then once we have all that in there, we'll get it going to where it starts to boil. So I'll turn the heat up a little bit just so I can get it to boil. This is the part where I don't get in trouble for cooking things on high. Alright, now we got the chicken broth and everything starting to boil. You can kind of see that in the pan. So what I do at this point now is I'll turn the heat down, and I'll actually put it on low. So we set it on low. Then we cover it. It kind of helps it to sweat a little bit and to kind of cook it a little bit more evenly all the way through. And then we'll come over here and we just set a timer. And again, no rhyme or reason. I just use 40 minutes because it seems like everything we cook is for 40 minutes. So we'll see you in about 40 minutes.
All right, folks, so 40 minutes is up.
Yeah, quick 40 minutes, right? Man, y'all should smell what it smells like in here. It's amazing. Anyway, so here's our chicken. So what we're going to do now, like I said before, we got it boiling. We turned it down to low heat. We're going to go ahead and uncover it, and we're just going to flip the chicken over. You don't have to worry about anything else. You see all the juices and everything else in here. So we're just going to flip this over without making a crazy mess. And
It's not cooking if you don't make a mess while you're doing it.
yeah, well, I don't like making messes because I got to clean it up later. So anyway, so
What is he saying?
here we go. We got our chicken flipped over again. Really don't have to do anything else to it after that. Go ahead and flip it over. Go ahead and put your cover back on it. Still leave it on low heat. And then we'll set our timer again for another 20 minutes. And we'll see you in 20 minutes.
All right, we are back and it is dinner time. It smells so yummy. All right, babe, take it over and let us know what we do next.
All right, so we took our chicken off of the stove. That's kind of what it looks like. So what we do now is you kind of go through and you try to hunt and find those bay leaves that we put in earlier. And I always just take those out and just put them to the side in a little bowl or a little plate or whatever and throw them away later. So we take those out, and then I just grab another fork and I start shredding this chicken. And so you can do this however you want to do it. You can either shred it to where it's like real fine, or you can leave big chunks. It's just totally up to you on how you want to shred your chicken.
Look how tender this chicken is.
Right, and you see all this juice and stuff like that that's in here right now. So depending on how you want it, if you want it to be extra juicy, you can kind of leave it like it is. We usually, most of the time, we'll cook this for about 40 minutes extra. So the first video we did, we said 40 minutes, and then we came back and then we set the timer again, but we did it for 20 minutes. Normally we'll do it for 40 additional minutes because we like to sit outside, listen to music, have drinks and things like that, and just kind of let it simmer on the stove. But again, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. If you don't want this much juice in it, after the 20 minutes, you can always just take the chicken out, transfer it over to another dish, and shred it like I'm doing right now. And again, it's just, real quick, real easy. Take a fork and just start pulling the chicken apart. So this is what I'm going to do here for a little bit. So we'll get it all nice and shredded up. And while I'm doing that, my lovely wifey over here will kind of give you a little rundown on the chips and the additional things that we're going to add to our dish tonight.
Yay, so it's my turn. All right. So now I am going to prepare our dishes as he is preparing the main dish and shredding that chicken. So I want to talk about a couple of things because this happens so much in a lot of households, is that there's different taste. People like different things, and you might have a couple of people that are very picky, or you might have someone who is very allergic or intolerant to certain foods. I mean, this day and time, that is very common in households. So I want to talk about how we differentiate in our household. I actually have a grain intolerance, so I had to go on a quest and a long journey to learn all of the different things that I actually have to switch over to and still be able to enjoy some of our favorite foods. So like tacos and nachos and wraps and that kind of thing, I've had to actually do a lot of research and find out different products that actually work for me and my system. Because the rest of my family pretty much does okay with their normal eating routine. So let's talk about that first. So when we're eating the nachos, one of our go-tos for Chris and the rest of the family are these blue corn tortilla chips. So these are organic. We get these from Trader Joe's, and they eat these, but I don't. And the reason why I don't is because I am grain intolerant. If I eat anything related to grains, whether it be corn, rice, what have you, I'm going to blow up. I get a lot of digestive upset. I swell. I have water retention. I have a lot of pain. So I have to stay away from things like this. So most people think, oh my God, I can't have this, so I can't enjoy Spanish food anymore, or I can't enjoy tacos, or I can't enjoy nachos. Well, I'm here to tell you, yeah, you can. So while the rest of the family is having these blue corn tortilla chips that are organic from Trader Joe's, it's still a healthy version for them. I actually am having these. So these Siete tortilla chips were a lifesaver for me. So thank you, Siete family, for creating these for people like us that are grain intolerant. So they actually have different flavors. They have just the sea salt, or they have the lime, or they also have a ranch flavoring. And I'm here to tell you folks that they use all natural organic ingredients. These tortilla chips, they are different because they are not made out of grains. They are actually made out of cassava flour. So looking on the back of them, let me look at their ingredients here. So they are made out of cassava flour, avocado oil, coconut flour, ground chia seed, however you want to say it, It doesn't matter. It's still the same. Sea salt, citric acid, and lime oil. That's it. That's all the ingredients are in these chips. They freaking taste amazing. You can't really tell a big difference from any other corn tortilla chip. This is how I get to enjoy tacos and nacho night. So yeah, we're eating a couple of different things, but guess what? It doesn't break the bank, and it's not that big of a deal that I'm eating something different from what they're eating. So let's go ahead. What I normally do while Chris is shredding the chicken is I will go ahead and I will prepare our dishes. I'll get the chips ready, and so I like to eat out of a bowl. Chris eats off of a plate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare Chris's plate with the chips.
I eat off of a plate because I like a lot.
He does like a lot. But that's all right.
Oh, hey, also, going back to the chips. So I'm pretty sure majority of you probably have some tortilla chips in your cabinet or your pantry or whatever. Take a look at what the ingredients are on your tortilla chips, and then take a look at what the ingredients is on these organic blue corn tortilla chips that we have, which is basically blue corn and sea salt and probably some kind of oil. So it may be sunflower oil, maybe avocado oil, but most of the time it's really just 3, maybe 4 simple ingredients, and that's about it. But again, take a look at something like Tostitos tortilla chips or the Salsarita tortilla chips, and take a look at what the ingredients are on that. These tortilla chips taste just as good, if not better, and they're a whole lot better for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, babe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare my bowl with my chips. I mean, look at these chips. They are freaking amazing. They're awesome. So whether you have a grain intolerant or not, if you're just looking to be a little bit healthier and you're wanting to stay away from grains, maybe you notice that grains don't work well with your body and you're gaining weight and you don't want to continue to eat grains, there's alternatives out there. It's perfectly okay to try something different. You might like it even better. I love the lime chips. I actually get 2 different ones. I get the sea salt and then I get the lime. I like the lime when I'm eating the nachos because it gives me a little bit more of a tanginess. So I'm just going to line my bowl. I've got his plate lined. I'm going to get these chips out of the way. And so here's the next thing. So Chris and the rest of the kids like to have cheese on their nachos. I can't do dairy, so I stay away from the dairy. And so you can purchase whatever cheese that you like to purchase. Chris and the kids get this marketplace from Walmart. It's just white queso. So we're actually going to spoon some of this out. Or you can do the whole container if you have a big family and everyone's going to eat a lot of cheese. But we just put a couple of tablespoons in another bowl. So we're going to put that in here.
Put your finger in it, wipe that off the spoon.
I don't do that. So I'm going to put it in the microwave. If you don't like to put it in the microwave, you can heat it up on the stove, whatever you like to do. We like convenience and rapido. So we're going to put it here in the microwave. And we're going to cook that for about 1 minute and 30 seconds just to get that heated up. So I don't do cheese. The next thing that I'm going to show you, but I will do avocado. So I'm going to put the chicken on my chips, and I'm going to do avocado. So we're going to actually just cut the avocado in half. I love avocados. They're super healthy for you, and the fat is super healthy as well. So I'm going to take this avocado, and we're just going to do a super easy, and my sweet hubby actually taught me this trick that I'm getting ready to show you, because I used to make cutting avocados so difficult. and didn't realize that this was so simple and easy to do. So what I did is I took the knife and I just kind of sliced it down, and then I turned it sideways and I sliced it this way. I don't have to worry about scooping it out. I'll show you in just a moment how easy it is to get on top of my nachos. I think the microwave is about to stop. So we're gonna, it's hot. We're gonna need to get some pot holders, so please be safe, don't burn yourself. We're gonna grab this out of the microwave. We're going to sit it down here, and I think I got a little bit in there, but that's okay. We're going to stir that around, and I'm going to let Chris go ahead and put his chicken on top of his nachos and how he normally fixes it.
Yeah, so I'm not shy. I just pour it on there, to be honest with you.
Notice he hasn't put his chicken on yet. No. He likes a lot of cheese.
So just coat it. Just get it all over there. Then you just go back to your pan with your chicken in it. Again, nice and shredded. And just take as much as you want and just sprinkle it on top of your nachos. I use the same forks. That way I can just kind of pick it apart and spread it however I want to. All over the chicken, all over the nachos, all over the cheese. And again, I like a lot.
So don't think that eating healthy means that you can't have Mexican anymore or Spanish food anymore. And I think it probably needs a little bit more chicken.
Oh. See, and I thought I was done.
Nope.
There we go. There's my plate.
Okay. So there is Chris's, and I think you actually also take a little bit of cheese and put on top of that most of the time.
Most of the time, but we're not going to do that today.
So also to let you know, I know that this video seems quite long, but it's because we're explaining everything to you as we go along. This does not take a lot of time in the real world, so just realize that. So here's mine. So Chris is going to put my chicken on top of my nachos. It is always super yummy and it smells amazing. I want a lot of chicken.
Okay.
I'm a meat eater. I love meat. But I also get a lot of vegetables too, so don't think that I don't.
All right.
No, I want a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm a meat eater.
All right.
All right. So I've got my nachos here. So now I'm going to take this lovely avocado that I cut long ways and then put a lot of... Watch this. Chris taught me this. You start squeezing it from the side and it like comes out in little bitty chunks. Who would have thunk? And look.
Ta-da!
So there are our Carrizales Chicken Nachos. That's it, y'all. That's it. And they taste freaking amazing. So you can play around with it. Make it your own. Do whatever you want to do. Dress it up however you want to dress it up. You can add more veggies. You can add tomatoes. You can add whatever it is you want to add. So there's something else that I want to state too. So let's just say that you are super sensitive to tomatoes or tomato sauce. Maybe you're allergic to tomatoes or tomato sauce. You don't have to use it. Just season up the chicken just like we did just now. Put the chicken broth in it, simmer it and cook it exactly the way that we just did. Leave out the tomatoes, leave out the chipotle. It's still going to make some amazing nachos. So don't get too hung up on, oh, I can't have this or I can't have that because this doesn't work well with my system or because I'm allergic to this or that. Modify it. Get creative. It is okay. It still tastes amazing, I promise you.
We've actually done a version where we took like a pot roast and we seasoned it basically the exact same way. Salt, pepper, turmeric, cumin, had it in a crock pot. Let it cook for 4 to 8 hours depending on how you set your crock pot. Took it out. I did the same thing. Shredded it the exact same way. We added the chipotle to it. We added the rotel to it. And we turned the exact same nachos, but we did, instead of chicken, we did beef. So again, whatever kind of meat you want to put into it, it's up to you. But it's still the exact same amount of time. Again, with the crock pot, 4 hours or 8 hours, depending on what you set it on. But chicken, if you want to do it fast, hour, and you're good to go.
So there you go. Thank you so much for coming into our kitchen. Thank you for sitting here with us while we cook one of our favorite dishes. And stay tuned because we are going to start sharing a lot more recipes with you.
Yep.
All right? Bye.
Bye,
Have a wonderful
everybody.
night.